La preparación de Guadalajara para el Mundial de Fútbol exhibe al Estado mexicano y una inversión de $55 millones para blindar el espectáculo futbolero. Mientras se impone la seguridad militar para proteger partidos de fútbol, a pocos kilómetros se seguirán encontrando restos humanos en fosas clandestinas.
No se vale que una persona...
It's unbearable that someone's life can just be taken away.
Y no solo desaparece,
Every time someone disappears, their family disappears a little bit too.
Yesenia era muy fuerte ella, con mucha vida.
Yesenia was full of life. She played soccer every day. On the field, she was always the boss.
Todas las situaciones en el fútbol.
¡Acomodamos! ¡Nos acomodamos, chicas! ¡Bien, Paula! ¡Ahorita sale!
9 de cada 10 familias
9 in 10 families here have someone who was disappeared.
En este tiempo.
Hay ciudades que reciben eventos.
Y hay ciudades donde las cosas suceden. Guadalajara no presume tradición, la comparte, la transforma.
Aquí no solo se juega fútbol.
Aquí laten ciudades.
Somos Ciudad de México.
We're near Akron Stadium, where the World Cup matches will be played. My daughter was last seen very close to here.
Se llevaron a mi hija que desapareció.
I know they abducted her here. Security cameras show the vehicle driving away. Then it disappears into thin air.
Y se ve cómo llevan el vehículo y llega y se pierde.
That's the camera that saw it. That's the last image.
Porque ya no hay cámaras.
Yesenia Araceli Gómez Castañeda continúa sin ser localizada por sus familiares desde el pasado 3 de marzo del 2022. Miguel Ángel Gómez Aguilar, su padre, detalló que la joven desapareció junto con su pareja sentimental, luego de que sujetos armados ingresaron a su vivienda, ubicada en Arellanes Tapatíos, en Zapopan, y se los llevaron a ambos.
Era como alrededor de las
It was around 5 p.m.
la tarde, por ahí así.
I thought maybe she was playing soccer, something like that.
Fútbol o algo así. No le tomé mucha importancia.
At first, I didn't think much of it. The next day, I learned that 20 heavily armed men had taken her from her home.
Había sido sacada de su casa por 20 sujetos.
What could a young woman possibly have done to make 20 armed men show up?
Que pudo haber hecho una persona, una mujer joven.
I still can't get that question out of my head.
Siempre hasta ahorita eso pasa en mi cabeza. Que sinceramente no creo que
I can't believe she did anything that could justify something like that.
Pasará eso. He querido creer.
I think they brought her here. There's a known criminal hideout close by where graves were discovered.
Sí, es cierto. Sí las hay. Y está la fosa más grande.
Right next to it is the largest mass grave, Las Aguas. They found more than 200 bags with human remains there.
Aún así, yo en algún momento
I sometimes get the urge to go in there with someone else or alone. I just have this feeling my daughter is there.
Por aquí está mi hija.
She's so close and I'm not allowed in. I'm angry at the government because they do nothing. I tell them where she is, they ignore me. They have evidence, but they still do nothing. They're putting all their energy into promoting the World Cup. So the missing get even less attention.
I
feel completely powerless.
Acá se va a secarla.
El delito de desaparición tiene...
Forcible disappearance carries a heavy stigma.
Y muchas veces la gente
Many
no tiene
families are too afraid to talk about it.
pues, acercarse a las familias. Y estas actividades
We want our work
ayudan a
to
que
help raise
la gente
awareness
se vaya
and
concientizando
build
y vaya
empathy.
generando más empatía. Pero igual hay mucha gente que
Many people still say
todavía dice que
they
es
must have been
basura,
criminals, so
que
now
son
they're dead.
delincuentes, que están muertos.
Mexico's lacking a
Hace
culture
falta
of
mucha
peace.
cultura de la paz aquí en México. Y la revictimización
Here in
por parte de la
Jalisco,
sociedad
the
en
victims
este
get
estado
another layer of
es
stigma
más fuerte que en
added,
otros estados.
more than in other
Muy
places.
complicado. Cada vez es un poquito
At
mayor.
least more people are stopping now. They take photos and look at the missing person posters.
A las fichas. Cada vez se genera
They're
más
slowly showing
empatía.
more compassion.
A veces los quita rápido el gobierno.
Sometimes the government removes the posters right away, the next day or even the same night.
Así como aquí es un lugar muy
It's a major
turístico,
tourist area.
les molesta.
They don't like a strong attention to the
El tema de los
disappeared here.
desaparecidos. Son del grupo. Pues México no es lo que
Mexico is
pintan,
not what
es
we're told. It's
muy
very
peligroso.
dangerous.
Cuando el Estado se
When the
encuentra
state's
tan
weak,
debilitado, el
Organized
crimen
crime
organizado
takes over
suple al
and grabs
Estado,
control of everything.
y se empieza a adueñar de muchas cosas. Cuando desaparecieron a
When
mi
my
hijo,
son disappeared 5 years ago,
en esos
organized
años, en
crime
esos
was
años,
starting
el
to
crimen
control
organizado se va
everything.
apoderando de todo y
The government
el
wants us to
gobierno nos quiere
believe in a
presentar
reality
otra realidad
that
que no-
simply doesn't
que no es la que
exist.
corresponde.
Bien, Fer, bien. Bien, ahorita sale. Wendy, a cabezar, a cabecear. ¡Ajá! Acomodamos, nos acomodamos, chicas. A una. Tú, Nati. Michu. Michu. Tú y Laisha son medias, ¿eh? Con las jugadoras.
I get on very well with my players.
Fue tu autogol. Hiciste un golazo. Las apoyo mucho y yo les digo
I support them however I can. They're here to play soccer, have fun, and forget the stress of the week.
Vaya Laisha, vaya Laisha, paradita. Pues cuando yo venía entrando.
When I'd get here, Yesenia was already waiting. Hey, ugly bald guy, you're late. I'd call her Skinny. That was my nickname for her. Say, looks like you got up too early. That's how we were.
Yo me la llevaba muy bien con ella y
I got along really well with her. Everyone did.
alguien que la viera mal, pues.
Without her, the team just isn't the same.
Pero sí, su equipo de ella como que se acabó. Laisha, Wendy y es su tocaya Doña Mari. ¡Para arriba! ¡Eso!
Este es un gran amigo.
Ernesto is a great friend. We met putting up posters. When he learned she was my daughter, he told me he'd been her coach.
¿A poco es tu hija? Sí.
Then he started telling me stories.
Sí, es que yo
It meant a
era
lot to hear someone talking about my daughter, sharing things I'd never seen myself.
Sí, fue muy agradable porque una
He told me
persona
that she
estaba
was the best
platicando de
player,
mi hija, cosas que
that
yo
she
no había
scored
visto,
lots of
me decía
goals.
que era la mejor jugadora, que metía muchos
He told me
goles,
about
me
things I never
platicaba
got to
cosas
see.
que yo no las había visto.
A ver, bájale. A las dos.
¿A cuál?
A las dos que bajaste.
Ha sido muy fuerte.
The time after she disappeared was incredibly hard. I couldn't sleep for a week. At night I just cried, making sure my grandson never noticed. It affected all of us deeply, not just me and my wife, but my children, all of us. My grandson's really suffering. He's only 7 years old. He seems completely depressed. He doesn't say much, but I can see him pulling away from everyone. He has no one left, no mother, no father. He's accepted us as his parents. But in his little mind, he still hopes his mother will come back one day and hold him in her arms. I hope for that too.
Te va a rasguñar. Ya me rasguñó. Aquí está mi... La perdí. Este es César.
This is my son Cesar.
Yo.
This is me.
Miguel.
This is Miguel.
Mi hija.
And this is my daughter. People say we look a lot alike. I am her mother after all, right?
Digo, pues sí, soy su mamá, ¿verdad? Esta es mi familia.
This is my family, my children.
Today we're putting up about 3,000 posters in this park. We're using public spaces to reach more people. Thank you. Everyone, tomorrow is the nighttime search. Please be ready by 7:30 p.m. Search, victims, human rights. We'll do it all this evening.
Nos aventamos.
¿Por qué les buscamos? Porque los amamos. ¿Por qué les buscamos? Porque los amamos.
Hasta encontrarles.
Hasta encontrarlos.
Justicia.
Justicia.
En lo económico tuve que...
I had to quit my job to dedicate myself totally to searching for my daughter. My savings disappeared quickly. I even had to sell my house to finance the search because I knew the government wouldn't give us any support. Recently, the money ran out, and I had to go back to work.
Tuve la necesidad de volver a empezar a trabajar.
Ahora ven la negra. La negra, ese es sostenido.
Para eso me tuve que...
That's why I can't go along on the group's field searches anymore.
Las búsquedas en campo, las actividades del colectivo.
Luckily, old friends who had known me for years and who also knew my daughter offered me a job at their workshop. A situation like this changes everything. Physically and emotionally, you eventually hit your limit. The constant meetings with prosecutors and the field searches wear you down, physically, mentally, and financially. I thought the authorities would help me find my daughter. Instead, the prosecutor's office asks us to do the investigating for them. Every month we go to meetings and it gets us nowhere. If anything, it gets worse. For them, it's just another file sitting on a desk. Honestly, the authorities have done nothing to find my daughter.
This whole area, from over there all the way to this corner. This is where they found the bodies. Another mass grave here. You can still see the hollow in the ground. It's hard to put into words. This place is pure human tragedy and terror. And right across from it, people go on quietly living in their homes. We live with that contradiction every day. It's really hard. Then there's the thought that my son Donnie could be among the remains they found here, or buried somewhere nearby, where we may never find him. That's very hard. He's my son. I watched him grow up. The uncertainty is the worst part. Every day you ask yourself, what happened? Where is he? Is he alive? Has he eaten? Is he cold? Your mind fills with endless questions. When the rainy season starts, I constantly wonder whether he's somewhere dry. I know it sounds silly, but it worries me. We're reflections in the eyes of other people. When that person is gone, who are we then? What's there to reflect us now? They didn't just take him, they took a part of all of us.
Mira, Luna, para el balón y pégale a la portería. Wendy, deja que lo mande la Luna. Bien, Soli. Ahí con ella. Todavía dice que ella la saca. 9 de cada 10 familias tienen
9 in 10 families are affected. One player on my team lost her father. They found him mutilated and dismembered. Another's mother was kidnapped.
Todo mutilado, lo encontraron en pedazos. De una niña también que juega conmigo.
Once you're in this situation, you meet many other people living through the same thing. For some, it's a brother, for others, an uncle. That's what brings us together.
No, pues que a mí también me desapareció un hermano, que un tío, y es cuando empiezas a convivir con la gente. ¡Tú! ¡Eso, Luna! ¡Otra vez! ¡Páralo, Jackie! ¡Cambia la net! ¡Para doña! Y aquí en México, desgraciadamente,
sadly, Mexico has so many missing people, and nobody helps. The government often claims these people left voluntarily. That's not true. Who would go voluntarily?
¿Quién va a querer irse por su propia voluntad?
Some people get kidnapped at work. There are fake job postings everywhere, just to lure people into forced labor.
Sorry, I can't help.
We've been doing this work here every weekend for the past 4 years. We won't stop during the World Cup. We'll keep reminding people about the disappeared, and we'll keep searching for them. There are warnings that children could be trafficked into sex work during the World Cup. We have to stop forced disappearances, not least here in Jalisco. The search has become a shared mission. I'm no longer searching for just my son. We're searching for everyone. When we search for them, we find ourselves.
Yesenia had so many dreams and plans for her children and her family. She was always there for us. She loved soccer and often came to me for advice. She was full of life. Soccer used to be my life too. But since Yesenia disappeared, I haven't played anymore. It's unbelievable that people come here for the World Cup and celebrate, while my daughter and so many others could be buried just a few yards away. And people act as if nothing's happened. It's impossible to comprehend what's happening around the stadium in Guadalajara. All the disappeared people and all the graves they found there.
Las fosas que han encontrado. Aquí en Jalisco son más.
The state of Jalisco has more than 16,000 missing persons, registered ones.
Más las que no han reportado por temor.
It's an unimaginable number. And that's only the official numbers. The real number is much higher.
Pero hay más, mucho más.